Sometimes, without even realizing it, we hand over the responsibility of our happiness to someone else. We expect them to understand us, to behave a certain way, to respond the way we hope they will. We wait for that message, an apology, some acknowledgement, on that moment where they finally get it. And while we wait, we put parts of our life on hold. We pause our ease, our joy, even our sense of self, as if it all depends on what they choose to do next. Hello, I am Siddharth Kullar, and this is my podcast. And if any of this sounds familiar, please do stay on and let me know what you think. At first, it feels unreasonable. After all, relationships do matter. People matter. Their actions affect us. So we wait. We wait, believing that once they change, once they do what feels right to us, everything inside us will settle down. But when that doesn't happen, something inside us begins to shift. And it shifts without being loud or dramatic. It shifts in a very subtle manner as a kind of heaviness that begins to form. A sense of being stuck. And over time, this begins to feel like something inside is fading. It's like a kind of grief. Not the grief of losing a person, but the grief of losing a possibility. It is that version of life we imagined that we lost. The version of them that we believed in that we lost. The version of ourselves that was waiting to feel complete once things finally worked out, which feels lost. And this grief is confusing because nothing is officially ended. That person is still there, the situation is still ongoing, but inside us, something has already begun to close. We may not even call it grief, we might call it frustration or disappointment or exhaustion, but underneath all of that, there is a sadness. There is this realization that what we were hoping for might not come in the way we expected. And yet, even in that state of mind, we keep waiting. We tell ourselves maybe a little longer. Maybe they will come around. Maybe things will change. Maybe if we explain better, try harder, stay patient, hold on just a bit more, something will shift. And so we continue. And in doing so, we move into a kind of survival mode. We begin to manage our feelings instead of living freely. We adjust our expectations again and again. We learn to tolerate what we once thought was unacceptable. We shrink parts of ourselves just to keep things stable. We survive the situation, of course, but surviving is not the same as living. Survival feels careful, controlled. Survival is about getting through the day without too much disturbance. It is about maintaining that fragile balance where our peace depends on things outside us not going too wrong. But thriving is different. Thriving has certain independence to it, not an independence from people, but from dependence, and independence from dependence, which is a space where our baseline, the very core of us, it does not collapse just because someone else did not meet our expectations or did not act the way they ought to have. And somewhere along that route, a question forms. If we continue to wait like this, the question is, what are we really waiting for? Are we waiting for them to change, or are we waiting for permission to feel okay? Because when our happiness is tied so closely to another person's actions, we are no longer just connected to them. We are, in a way, being governed, being controlled by, being ruled by them. Is that who you are? Their mood shapes our mood. Their presence or absence defines our day. Their choices decide whether we feel settled or unsettled. And while that can feel justified and real, but it also means that we have stepped away from ourselves. We have moved from being a participant in our own life to becoming a responder, someone who reacts, adjusts, and waits. And as time passes, once again we get tired. It becomes tiring in a really deep way, bone deep weariness, which isn't physical or mental, but this deep emotional state that just feels like you're done. Somewhere within us, there is a part that knows that this is not how it was meant to feel. Life is not meant to feel like something we are constantly waiting to join for your application to be approved. There is a turning point that sometimes comes and it is in front of you right now, and it is like before, it isn't dramatic or loud. It is just a moment where we begin to see things a little differently. There is a shift in our perspective. We begin to notice that while others can add to our happiness, they cannot, should not, and must not be the foundation of it. We begin to realize that if our base state depends on someone else's behavior, then our stability will always be uncertain. And maybe, just maybe, this is where we can begin something new. Not by changing them, not by forcing outcomes, but by slowly and gently bringing the center back to ourselves, taking responsibility by recognizing that we cannot outsource our happiness. That while connection is beautiful, dependence is not as much. That while others can make us happier, they cannot be the reason we are okay. We must be happy on our own, and this doesn't mean we stop caring or become distant or detached. It simply means we begin to take responsibility for our own happiness. That's it. We learn how to hold ourselves when others might not. We allow ourselves moments of ease even when situations are unresolved. We have to give ourselves permission to feel all right, okay, without waiting for conditions to be just perfect. Because this shift is not about choosing between people and ourselves. It is about including ourselves about moving from waiting to actually living. Your application was approved a long time ago. It was approved the day you were born. And now the decision is to move from surviving to slowly and steadily allow yourself to thrive.